All right, one thing I always talk about is about success and being great, not settling for average. Okay? What I want to tell you something I hope this sinks in. There is less competition at the top. What does that mean? There's one CEO for every 5,000 employees. There's 700 Major League Baseball players when there's thousands and millions of youth baseball players. The higher you climb, the less competition there is. And here's the reason why. Everybody wants to conform. They want to fit in. So as they're going down the highway to greatness, they stop at average. They just get off because A, it's hard work, and B, when they stand out, the attention's on them and they don't really like it. They don't like that people are talking bad about them or saying, he did this, and he did that, or she did this. And so they start, let me step back, and I'm going to go conform. I'm going to just get that 9-to-5 job, and I'm going to get that little house, that picket fence, and I'm going to pay a few bills, and I'm going to have a little bit of money. Hopefully I can retire. When I can retire at 65, they conform. And that conformity is and will always keep you average. You got to stand up, you got to stand out, and you got to shine bright. You got to let them know. You got to go get what you want. You're not here to be part of the herd. If that was the case, man, we would live like that. But we don't live like that. We live in individual houses. We live with our little families. We don't look like everybody else. We don't act like everybody else. But then you start falling for societal norms, and that's when you become average. Society is the one telling you to go get a job, to go to high school, to go to college, to go get a job. And I'm not saying, now trust me, right? I got an undergrad degree. I'm doing a master's degree. I'm doing it. I'm not doing it to get a job though. I'm doing it to get knowledge. I'm doing it to get better. I'm not doing it to conform with what society tells me. I'm doing those things because I want to do those things because they will make me better. But I'm not trying to get a job with those. I have a job. I'm doing a master's in administration, leadership. And that's what I'm learning about every day. I learn every single day about something about leadership and how to lead and how to help people and so I'm studying. I don't just have all these things in my head that were mine from birth. I've studied, I've learned, I've read, I've watched interviews. I've watched everybody speak. And I learn from them. That's what you do. That's what we do. Right? But then for some reason along the way, we conform. We do what we were told to do. We do what we're said we're supposed to do. House, picket fence, 2.5 kids, little dog, pay your bills, have a nice little life. Have a nice little life. Here's the deal. We talk about the note card. If on your note card, okay, you wrote down you wanted to get a job out of college that you liked, that paid some bills, right? You did your thing and you have a little family. If that's what your goal was and you got there, then you achieved and you're successful. I'm not dogging you for that. But there are other people who didn't write that goal down, but ended up there because they decided to conform, because other things got too hard. But there's less competition at the top. The further you go, the easier it gets. You think I'm lying to you, but I'm not. I'm telling you, the further you climb, the higher you climb, the easier it gets. There's thousands of middle managers. There's one CEO. There's 700 professional baseball players. There's millions of kids who dream of playing it. But some of them keep pushing and pushing and pushing and grinding and grinding. And they get past the herd. They get out of the herd and they emerge. And now they're doing their thing. And now instead of competing against millions, they're competing against hundreds of thousands. Right? And now they keep going. And instead of competing against hundreds of thousands, they're competing against tens of thousands. going. And now instead of competing against tens of thousands, they're only competing against hundreds of people. Hundreds of people. And they narrowed themselves down to number 999. And there's less competition now than there was when they were little, when they were younger, when they were in college. They've made it. They've pushed through deliberately, intentionally. They kept going. I'm asking you, I'm begging you to don't conform. Stand up, stand out, shine bright. Stand up, stand out, and shine bright. And when people don't like it, that's because they don't want to do it, because they're too afraid to stand up. They're too afraid to get in front of a crowd of 10,000 people and start talking like that's where they're supposed to be, like that's where they're most comfortable. They're too afraid to announce their dreams to the world that they want to play a professional sport and go do it. They're too afraid of failure to go be the CEO. They're too afraid to do these things. So along the pursuit, they stop. They get out of their car, they put on a tie, they put on a suit, and they conform. Now there's some people wearing suits and ties that are doing big things. Warren Buffett, let's go. I know better than that. What I'm saying to you is he's not conforming. You listen to interviews with Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett will tell you this. He'll tell you this about his decisions. When I trust my facts. I trust the facts I have. Not the people that tell me I'm doing the wrong thing. That's what Warren Buffett says. Warren Buffett. You think he's making some money? He's successful. He's providing services. He's helping. He's doing things. But he said, Warren Buffett said, I trust the facts. I trust what I believe. I do not trust the people that are telling me I'm doing the wrong thing because I know better. I'm not one of the sheep. I stand out. I stand out. You have to stand out. You have to stand up. You have to shine bright. Conformity will keep you average. Conformity will stop you from ever achieving anything great. Because now, there are people who get in that average state, they conform, right? And they're in that job and all of a sudden they're like, you know what, this isn't the life I want to live. And they break out. They write down their goals and they go again. It was because they got out of the feeling they had to conform. And once they realized they didn't have to live the life that their parents, that society, that school, that their teachers were telling them they had to live, they lived the life they want to live. And they love it and they grind every day because they're passionate. Please, please, I'm begging you, do not conform to any societal norm, right? Whatever people are telling you should be, believe yourself. Believe what your heart is telling you. Believe what your mind is telling you should be. When they tell you that you should not do that, that's okay because you believe, you know, you understand, you intend to be something great and that's what you were going to be. Now go be great. Stand up, stand out, and shine bright.